access to opportunity for small businesses in that space. So I support individual businesses. I also we look at contracts with agencies to either help manage their small business programs or do sort of other professional services, workforce development type of support.
Okay. Thank you. Karan, please
Hi,
introduce yourself.
yeah, good evening, Paula. I met you a couple of times in the different events.
Where?
I think NMDC and SBA events in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, I met. And my name is Karun Asredi. I'm a president for InfoSmart Technologies Inc. We are located in Atlanta. We do IT consulting and IT development. We've been working with the federal agencies. We're trying to bid the project. Bidding the projects in federal area. We want to get into the federal area.
Good.
Um, yeah, I have 25 years of IT experience working as a consultant to the federal agencies.
Okay, let's rock and roll and look
Yeah.
at where the money is.
Yes.
That's what we're here today. Let's try to match what's out there now. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm gonna cut off my camera so I don't distract myself. But I'm gonna go into how to get into this game. Um, all right. Okay, let's start. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Right now, as you all know, it's been a lot of chaos going on with the government. But one thing I know, despite the chaos and what I'm seeing as it relates to opportunities, it's more opportunities because of the inefficiency that you have on the government. So right now, I gathered this tag and saying is for those that aren't prepared, opportunity for those who know the process. So it's still a lot of opportunities out here. I always like to start with my background and how I ended up here. Originally, I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. After college, my first job was after college, I went to Washington, D.C., and my first job was an event planner with a company that was a part of the 8A program. By a show of hands, how many of you heard of the 8A program? Yes? No?
Yes, I know we are a certified 8A.
Okay, anybody else? We're going to talk about the 8A and what that program is about. I ended up attaching myself to one contract that was a part of that program. And every 3 years, I went to a new company that had that contract that was a part of the program, to the point where I started, by the sixth company, I cut out the middleman and started my first business. First year in business, I won $1 million contract. Second year in business, I applied into the 8A program, won another 3 million, quickly grew the business to close to $15 million in contracts with almost 40 employees. And that's really where the challenge began because I really had no clue what I was doing. And I had two business partners. Um, One who felt like he could run his personal expenses through the business. The last straw for me was a $3,000 custom-made pinstripe suit with his initials going down the pinstripe. I had his credit card audit with by my assistant. He takes her in the elevator and threatens her. I terminate him. He then conspires with two employees to sue me and the other partner for sexual harassment. 2 years of attorney fees, 125,000 in attorney fees, 100,000 to buy him out. I had no more operating cash, so I closed the business in 2005, and it really pushed me to my new passion because I realized no one was teaching small businesses how to grow and maintain a business on that level. So for 2 years, 2 years, I volunteered as a SCORE counselor in the Washington, D.C. office. I'm very strategic, ran out of money, positioned myself to be hired by SBA. I was hired by SBA in 2008 in the Philadelphia district office, which is the office that processes the applications for that 8A program. My job was to service the businesses once they got into the program. In 2012, I relocated here to Atlanta, and while I was here in Atlanta, they required that we become certified as a contract specialist. And for me, that was the missing piece, meaning I had run a business for 10 years. I understood SBA's operations, but I wasn't quite sure what steps the agencies took to actually put that solicitation out for you to compete. So for me, that closed the gap. I've trained more than 10,000 businesses on marketing to the government, and I've assisted small businesses to date to win over 1.5 billion in contracts across various agencies. And I've self-published a book called That's Crazy, Recognize Crazy and Run. The names have been changed to protect the innocent, but it was documenting the craziness that was in that business. Um, Hold on. So, what are the challenges for small businesses getting into this game? What typically happens when I was working at SBA is everyone would come in there, we'll tell them about the programs and tell them to get certified, and everybody is excited once they leave, but nobody's sure on how to connect the dots. And it's the same thing with these government agencies. No one understood SBA's rules and regulations. And I will consistently say, unless you worked on the inside of SBA, nobody understands them. And they are a major factor in this equation. You can't get anything without SBA being involved. So, what are the challenges? Government assumes that you understand their language, their acronyms. They assume that you understand their process. Once you've identified what certifications you qualified for, well, what documentation is SBA looking for when you start applying for that certification? And understanding all these databases and agencies are disconnected. Nobody talks to each other. So that's where the confusion comes in for small businesses. What I realized, and I just recently did this after all of this year, was what I found the problem with small businesses are people trying to enter into this space. They're trying to determine how your product or service fits within that corporation or within that agency, right? Whereas what we're teaching you is determining how the government is spending its money each year, and you're creating a sustainable business model based on what the budget is, where the money is going. Does that make sense to you all? Hmm? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be interactive
Yes.
here. As an example, I just found I went in and AI is the game changer, everyone. I went in and just asked them what are the top um, um, agencies and where are the dollars going for this fiscal year for small businesses. So now it's showing me where the dollars and who's receiving the money. And a lot of times when you're looking at these opportunities, you're going to see based on what's going on in the government, what opportunities are out there. Now, some of it, for me, it's a moral issue with this Homeland Security. I'm not touching that immigration, but I could touch the IT help desk and some of those things. So keep your mind open to not necessarily pigeonholing yourself based on your skill set, because the system has been designed for everybody to be laborers, meaning for your education system, they're teaching you how to work for someone. I have MBAs that's coming through here. They're teaching you to work for a corporation. I just had an MD, orthopedic surgeon, complete the program last month. He knew better that they're not teaching him how to build that practice. It's a skill set. So for me, the first thing that we teach in the first module is to not limit your business. Because when I won that first $1 million contract and I was marketing my business as an event planning company, my mentor pulled me aside and said, "Why are you pigeonholing yourself?" And when he said that, it made sense based on those 5 companies that I'd gone through and understanding everybody's doing the same thing in this space. So I changed my business model to management consultant and I created divisions. I had an event planning division, I had an IT division because I had to build a website to do the events. I had a communication division, you're doing print and all of that to promote the event. I had a database division. Once I created those divisions, I started getting contracts in those areas. And this is the hardest part for most people coming through my program. It's for them to make that shift to understand that I don't have to know anything about that contract to win. That's not my job. My job is to find a team of subject matter experts to do the work, and that's how I make money. Yeah. Are y'all hearing me? Can I get an amen out there?
Amen.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you think about NBA basketball, so often we want our children to be the LeBrons and Stephons. And I'm like, if LeBron and Stephon is making $200 million in a contract, how much is the owner making? Right? The owner does not have to know anything about basketball. The owner's goal is to get him a dream team every year so that he can make money. That's the same analogy that you're going to use in this space. It's not necessarily based on your skill set. One area could be, but the other areas is going to match what the government is buying. The second thing that is key is understanding that collaboration is key in this space. You cannot do this by yourself. All of the programs, all the contracts and all the SBA programs, they require you to collaborate. So in the second module, we put you into teams and you have team deliverables because you have to understand it's too hard to do this by yourself. It's easier to do this collectively. Number 3, you must have the infrastructure in place to support these contracts. What do I mean by infrastructure, someone? Anybody? Nobody? I said I was sued.
You must have infrastructure.
The accountants, the attorneys, anybody that has a W-2 employee. As soon as you get that W-2 employee, you need to make sure you have employment practice liability insurance. Employment practice liability insurance. Had I had that insurance, that would have covered the attorney fees and the partnership buyout. That was to protect me on the inside. Nobody told me that. Everybody clear with that?
Yes.
Okay, when you think of the government's fiscal year, when does the government's fiscal year start and end?
Starts October 1 and September 30th.
That is correct. And what happens is before that budget is passed, Those agencies are operating on a continuing resolution, meaning they have limited funding. So for you as a small business, the best time for you to market to those agencies is generally between October, February, and March. Because once they pass that budget, by the time it gets to that agency, they have a short window to get rid of their money by September 30th. Generally, it's from July to July, August, and September. They have to get rid of the money. I had a student last year who started in March. Her background was IT. I said to them, while they're in class, start once you get that cage code and you're registered in SAM, start competing. We're at the end of the year. She won her first contract delivering rock salt in North Carolina. It was 4 runs. She put her bid in at $126,000. She marked it up 50%. Those are the buys that we want you to start looking at and targeting because those are the buys that are specifically for small businesses. So why federal contracts? 23% every year of contracts are set aside for small businesses without any certification. 5% for women owned, 5% for small disadvantaged, 5% for service disabled, and 3% for hub zone. So what that means is the more certifications you have, you're helping the agency achieve their goals. And SBA keeps a scorecard on how each agency scored in meeting their goals for these programs, and they publish it and try to embarrass the agency. But you can use that as a strategy based on what agency is not meeting their goals. And you can see over here, it's a whole lot of money being spent in each of the programs, just as a small business without certification. What I realized when I left the DC area, and even when I went to Pennsylvania and when I came here, nobody outside of that DMV area have a clue about government contracts just based on the number of businesses in the 8A program. Here in Georgia, it's 145 in the whole state of Georgia that's in that program. So what you find is that people from DC come here to win contracts. What's here, someone? What agencies are here?
Mm-mm.
Huh? Nobody knows what
CDC,
CDC, CDC. What else? It's 5 military bases. Fort Gordon, Warner Robins. What was the young lady's name with the daycare center? Was that Nicole?
Yes, Nicole.
That means they have daycare facilities on all of those bases. It's 5 military bases. Only thing you're doing is managing those daycare centers. Most of those staff have already been in place. Those are the easiest contracts to get. Amen, amen. When you look at Virginia, you see it's 800 in the program. Maryland, that's 400. So that's almost what? What was that? Almost 1,300 just in Maryland and Virginia. So there's no competition. That's why they come here. It's even worse in Alabama. See, Alabama has 101, and I say North Carolina is 72. South Carolina is less than 100. And anywhere there's a military base, there's going to be a government contract. And so what I tell businesses is a lot of time SBA's resource partners will tell you to start locally and then go to the state because you're not ready to compete on a business on the federal side. That's incorrect. The government specifically have contracts set aside for small businesses that are 350,000 and below. And you can compete on a contract and win a contract in California. As it gets closer, and you can see here, I sorted this. This is showing you the number of opportunities that was out, and that was going to be due in the next month, just as a whole. So there's not enough small businesses competing. Again, another example. I was looking at someone who was a caterer, looking at just the catering contracts that came out. Do I have to be a caterer to win this contract? Absolutely not. Only thing I have to do is be a small business and find a caterer and project manage them delivering that food. Am I making sense to y'all?
Yes.
As an example, this is a total small business set aside. What would you do for this particular opportunity? What they're looking for? Anybody?
They're looking for exhibition booth services. That's the name of the company?
No, this is what the government is looking for. They're
Mm.
looking for a contractor that can maintain and set up their booths for this cruise global conference and return following each event. So I'm going to find me somebody in wherever Great Lakes, St. Lawrence. This here said they're looking, but maybe they're a subcontractor to them. You're right. It's not necessarily saying it's an agency, but it is. It's under the Department of Transportation. Who knew? You see that?
Mhm.
So I'm still just going to find somebody that has the cell. How many of you all on social media? Huh?
I am.
All the time. They need a social media manager. The goal is to understand what they're buying and you're brokering for the government. That's all government contracting is to me. So how do you get into this game? You self-certify in this database, SAM, Systems for Awards Management. We called it when it first launched such a mess, and it's still such a mess. It's a lot of bugs in that database. So you register and self-certify as a small business in sam.gov. You can self-certify as a small disadvantaged business, although a lot of agencies don't use that certification because once you're in the 8A program, you're you're automatically a SDB. These are the four programs that require formal certification, meaning you're going to submit an application to SBA and they're going to approve your application. The 8A is a business development program. The Hub Zone program is designed to build communities. And then you have the woman on and then a service disabled. Do I have any veterans online?
Yes.
We have a veteran? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, every
Oh,
military every military base that you all have been on, we're gonna go back and thank you again for your sacrifice for this here, for all of us, and your service. This is the website that you go to determine what programs you qualify for. Um, Previously, they were different databases. Now they pull them all into one database. So if you're applying for the economically disadvantaged women's owned small business program and the 8A, you don't have to upload the same documents twice. It now can only now is merged into one. The 8A program, which is a program to my heart, this is the program where I saw the generational wealth built up in DC. My mentor got into this program, and in 6 years, he sold his business for $27 million. That's where you find the most wealth, especially of people of color in that DMV area, because everybody was a government contractor. This is the only program, hear me now, that I know that's designed to build your business for 9 years by giving you or allowing you to have non-competitive contracts up to $4.5 million with no competition. That's called a sole source. That's how I was able to grow my business so quickly. This is the program that they're trying to attack. But for me, um, I'm telling businesses, especially those who have been in business for a little bit and have the track record, go ahead and apply into this program now, before they destroy it. And because they still are using that program. Because what happens come the end of the year, the 8A program is the easiest vehicle for the agencies to get rid of the money. They don't have to compete. They just do a sole source to a business that's in that program. Y'all have any questions with what I just said? And have you all ever heard of this program? Just by a show of hands. Yay? Yay?
Yes.
And what have you all heard of it? Hmm? What did you?
I've heard in the past that
I've
it was
heard in the
difficult to
past
get
that it's
into it.
difficult to get into it. Yes, me the same as well. And but never proposed the way that you just proposed it, Miss Paula.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Especially if you got somebody that was on the inside that comes on the outside and spilling the guts. As I
That's
said,
right.
huh? Say
No,
what?
I was saying I was agreeing with what you just said about somebody that was on the inside now on the outside telling us all the things.
Yeah, the game. I got to study 40 businesses every
40
year,
businesses every year.
and that meant I got to see the
I got
inside
to
out.
side out.
Hmm. So, the Hub Zone program is based on where your business is located. When I look at the Hub Zone program, I like to look at what Magic Johnson did. Magic Johnson, uh, Magic Johnson went into urban areas and built movie theaters and hired from within. And that's the same concept of the Hub Zone program. It's designed to build communities. As long as your business is located in a hub zone and 35% of your employees reside in a hub zone, then you're able to qualify into that program as well. Previously, for the 8A program, as long as you were a member of any one of these ethnic groups, you automatically met the social disadvantage. Now, since the lawsuit, they now require you to come in and describe how you've been discriminated against, in America. Don't worry about that because I have the template and I have the relationships with the guys in Philadelphia that process the application. So we know the answers, and I have all the retirees on my team. We are SBA. The other component is your economic. Your economic net worth cannot exceed $850,000 minus any equity in your residence and in your business. If you have rental properties, that the equity in those properties will be counted against you. If you are a broker of any type, you cannot come into the program as a broker. So what I tell, especially like real estate agents, on your tax return, you're going to use the code 541611. That's the management consulting code, which is a catch-all that covers it all because that's all you're doing in real estate. It's project management. That's all you're doing. So shifting our mindset. The other thing, what gives me a heartache as a SBA popo, on the popo hat on, is if you have 3, 4, 5 companies. I don't know why we think we need to have 4 or 5 companies. If you had 3 or 4 or 5 companies, that's my heartache because I have to come and investigate each of those companies because part of getting into this program, you have to be full-time under the company that's applying into the program. If you have multiple companies and multiple revenues, I don't know who you're serving. That makes sense? Anybody have any questions with what I just stated? Y'all good?
Yes.
Okay. Usually I get somebody to say, well, Miss Paul, I got about 4 or 5. You have to dissolve it. Or we can have off ways. There's always ways to get around stuff. Um, legally.
Definitely
Hudson.
gonna need help with that.
Huh?
I'm definitely gonna need help with that.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to give me an off call. Okay.
Okay.
Applies to, and then right now, as the program is 9 years, and what I tell businesses, how it worked up in DC, especially with the A-Day, and if you're married or you're always going to have another A-Day following you. Everybody is grandfathered in. So that's part of what I'm teaching businesses in the program. We're going to catch those contracts based on those companies graduating from the program because they can't keep them. So part of the training is getting you to get dressed up to look like them because that's where the teaming comes into play. HubZone program. There's no term limits on this program. You're recertified every 3 years. In this program, the women's program and the veterans program, they award sole source contracts based on what they call the rule of two, meaning they have to make sure that there are at least 2 businesses that can qualify and perform on that contract to be able to do a sole source contract, which is different than the A-to-A program. A-to-A program, they can just do a direct award without having to still compete it amongst 2. You also get what they call a 10% price evaluation preference. The government's going to add 10% onto someone else's price if they're not a part of the program for a full and open contract, giving you the advantage. Your principal office must be in the HubZone and 35% of the employees live in the HubZone. Again, this program is designed to build communities. So when you look at this map and you put your address in, it's going to show whether or not you are in a HubZone. So if I'm a home-based business and my home is in the HubZone and I'm the only employee of my business, will I qualify into this program, someone? Yeah?
I would say
Huh?
yes.
You say what?
I would say yes.
Yes, but say that confidently. It's 35%. You're making up to 35%. And the hub zone does not necessarily have to be the hood zone. For instance, when I was working at SBA down on Peachtree Street, um, it was a hub zone. It was a hub zone because of the homeless shelter. And as you can see, it's going to change in July of this year. The hub zones map changes based on the Census Bureau, and it generally takes the Census Bureau 5 to 6 years to to um, to update its data. Again, the women's program is broken into 2 components: economically disadvantaged and the WOSB. Economically disadvantaged is based based on the same qualifications as the 8A. They're going to be asking for your tax returns. They're going to ask for profit and loss statements. They're going to ask for a little bit more details. Again, this program is still relatively new. It doesn't take that much to qualify into it. Again, no minimum amount of time. This program became in existence when I was at SBA in Philadelphia. And guess who was calling? All of the husbands trying to position their wives to get this benefit. So all of these programs require someone has that 51% ownership. They still say full time during normal working hours. There's ways to get around that based on the industry. If I'm in IT, I don't need to work 9 to 5. I can do things off hours. If I'm in cleaning, that's off hours. So everything is a case to case. The whole key is managing the day-to-day operations and understanding you cannot lie to the government. For example, I had an 8A firm, and I knew the husband was running. It was an asphalt building. She was going out pouring asphalt and concrete. The husband transferred the business over to her. I did a site visit because I'm the popo. She had minimal English, and I had to interview her. I knew she was not running that business. So SBA has 250 attorneys. So of course I had to document and report. You cannot lie to the government. I don't know why people think they can and get away with it. Veterans programs. Again, there's no term limit, and all of these programs require any large prime that receives a government contract, they have a subcontracting plan. So there's different ways to get into the door. The goal is whatever certifications I don't have, I'm going to make sure I have a partner that has that certification. This program, again, just was transferred a couple of years ago to SBA. It was previously going through, VA. It takes about 6 weeks for you to get approved in this program. The WOSB, 8A, and other ones are a little bit more challenging. So that's why I say go ahead and get whoever at least meets the minimum requirements for the 8A to start the process. It's just having your paperwork together. And some of that is what we cover in the program. Because most of us, even though we may be in business, don't have our back office and paperwork together. And you need to know what I'm going to be asking for and looking for. So it's a checklist that they're going to be asking for. You can just go to, again, that My SBA certification and create a login, and it's a step-by-step process. People get confused with these certifications. We are certified up. I swear we're certified up. I don't like the E's. Not that it's not our tax dollars. It is our tax dollars, but it's harder. You don't know who you're marketing to. So when you look at MBEs, WBEs, VBEs, those E's are marketing to corporations. That's the minority supplier chain. You don't know who has the money, and oftentimes it takes multiple years to get into those corporate supply chains. We talked about the federal. The state is the DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. Those are certifications that are issued by DOT or MARTA. If you're in like Philadelphia, it was SEPTA. Up in DC, it's Metro. So those are the ones that typically, I mean, they issue your DBE. The problem I have with DBEs is that you never are able to be your own boss. you're always going to be a subcontractor. And then, of course, you have your local certifications. Most counties or cities may have their own certifications. And to me, you're competing with the larger pool when you're competing on local and state. And for me, it makes sense. Start at the federal and come down because anybody that's receiving federal dollars have to follow federal rules. So a lot of times the state and local dollars have to follow the same process for solicitations as it relates to their RFPs. I'm going to take you all to some websites. Anybody have any questions on the programs?
No.
No.
Okay. I wanted to show you this website, USA Spending. This is where, do it this way. This is where all of your dollars are tracked. Anytime the government spends any money, it's posted here. Not only contracts, but also grants. People get contracts and grants mixed up. Grants are strictly for nonprofits. Grants are generally to solve or serve the community. Contracts is I want you to do a job and I pay for you to do this job. And for me, it's all about the taxes. If you're going to go in business, understand why you're going in business. Most people are like, oh, I'm going in business to leave a legacy. All of that's cute, but what we want is the tax benefits. I want the same credit those billion corporations are getting. We have to understand the game, understand how the money flows, understand what the government is buying. So this website shows you how much is being spent by state as it relates to not only contracts, but grants, because in the end, it's our tax dollars. We need to stop thinking that and being happy when we get tax refunds because I want to break even. That's you giving the government your money all year to play with, and I could use my money better. So when you click on searching awards, it's going to show you, and you can search by different aspects, the different types of set aside. I help you through the program create a strategy around this area where it says type a set aside, where you can see 8A sole source, right? These are contracts that the rest of the world will never, ever see. They are advertised. They just going to go to the next 8A company, especially if that company is not able to compete it. So we have a whole marketing strategy around this database. I wanted to show you an example of one of the students who won, and this is what I mean by the low-hanging fruit. She came in and she got these contracts in 1990. I mean, during COVID, but some of them are still going. This is the low-hanging fruit. Um, this one was a run and done. This was the government needed a office space, right? It's 3 months. The hotel costs, they needed a 3-day retreat. The hotel cost was $48,000. She put her amount in at $104,000. If you go down further, again, it was the contract was July. The event was in September. She was paid by October. Right here. What do you all see? Number of offers received.
One.
One.
No competition. No competition. She was actually a truck driver. She's still doing truck driving. Here was for a contract. I think this was a 5-year contract. Um, hold on. She's still winning. She's still, I think this contract is still going on. Yes, it ends this year. And this is steady income. All you're doing is, and it's showing you how much money she's getting paid each year. And so apparently they extended her some money, and it's telling you. She's not out there managing no lawn. She's just making sure the lawn is cut. Am I helping y'all to get out of your comfort zone?
Yes.
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 Yeah. Um, okay. And then I'm going to take you to another website. Just so that you'll get, I don't like, again, sam.gov. Sam.gov is where most of the opportunities are posted. I really don't like sam.gov. This is a more user-friendlier database. It has a lot of ads, but it's still a little easier. So let's say for this purpose, I'm looking for RFQs. Again, RFQs are those buys that are 350,000 and below. I can put in here RFQs to see for the month of March, what type of contracts are they looking for that are below that threshold? Again, the government buys everything, right? Here's one they just need, again, another facility in Delaware. Government buys, they need electric heaters, but you have to be careful with the product side because there are rules to the product side. You can't just go on Amazon and make sure it's not delivered, that it's not from China. So here, if I want to see what contracts are right here now in Georgia. So right now it's showing me, look at that. Request for proposals. So what does that, just by the looking at the name of that, what is that asking you? What are you saying that they're asking? Just by the title.
Coca-Cola.
Drinks, yeah.
Follow. That sounds like probably vendor machines that they may need staffed up. So you're working with who's a distributor of Coca-Cola, all right? Because I'm sure they may not be registered in SAM and may not be a vendor. I mean, in SAM. So here is food service. I like those contracts there because most of the time, those people were like me. They've been working on that same contract for the last 10, 15 years. You already have a built-in staff. And that makes sense because the government is not expecting you to have to come in and train a whole new team and disrupt service. So as long as you're able to still tell a story on how you're going to manage that contract, then you can compete on it. Am I making sense?
Yes.
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 Okay. Right here, this is where you go you're able to go meet the buyers. That was, I guess, last week, where again they bring together prime contractors, government agencies, and small businesses. They have what they call small business industry days. And that allows you to meet the players who's there. So it's understanding again just how to get in the game. So this is what I call the present. We've talked about USA spending. That's what past awards are. And then they have another component that they have, what they call their forecast. So you literally every year are going to begin to create a strategy based on the opportunities. Every year, each agency will have to put out what they're planning on winning. That's not, I mean, forecasting. That's not necessarily on SAM right now. So right here, if I'm looking at HUD, and people automatically assuming HUD is just housing. Now, every agency needs support. So if I look at the forecast, it's showing me the industries and the services that they're looking for. And I like them because they break it down by their office. So all administrative services are going to come out of this office. If I'm looking for HR services, all right, right here, I like new contracts. This allows me to get in front of the contract before it comes out. So they're telling me I need retirement plats. It's going to come out in July, and they plan on awarding it in August. Here is Cheryl Hollins. And so you can reach out to Cheryl and ask Cheryl now before it's advertised, how many retirement plats do you anticipate as part of this purchase order? So now that allows you to have enough time to get in and negotiate with whatever the number will be. Does that make sense? Because
Yes.
once it's out, they can't, they'll do this. They can't talk, they can't talk about it. And then it also allows you to go in and you can take those contract numbers and put it in USA spending to USA spending and get the exact value. So I like everything that is new. So right here, didn't I hear somebody with that kind of background? Anybody online?
We do some training and workforce development.
That's it. That's community, that's probably the community base, and it's just changing the words. And you can see the value. It's going to be woman-owned, and it comes out in July. So, and it's a 5-year contract. So that's steady income. Government is huge. There's no need. It's just a numbers game come July. And with AI, you should be able to shoot these things out. So that's what I incorporate now into the program. How do we leverage AI? Anybody have questions? All right. Now the program is it is a 15-week program. Hold on. It's a 15-week program. The first module, 6 weeks. It is, I call it business ready, meaning you're getting your business ready to compete and look like everyone else in this space. Although you may already be in business, I want to make sure you have the proper documentation as you begin to apply into these programs. The goal is that you start your certifications while you're taking the class. The last class is all around you looking at those buys that are 350 and below since they increased the amount and start competing. You have nothing to lose. The second module is 6 weeks as well. It's all around strategy, teaming up with potential 8A companies graduating from the program. Understand how you're going to leverage these websites and relationships to help you win contracts. And then the third is all around the Mentor Protege program and the 8A program. I have the business plan that passes the smell test for both of those programs that you can submit and apply to and understand how you're going to leverage those programs. And the next cohort is going to start Wednesday, April 15th from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. You meet once a week. Everything is recorded. So even if you miss a week, you come back and you can listen to the recording. You have weekly homework assignments. That is a building block, but it's all applicable towards your business. And today I'm feeling friendly. I needed to change that. I'm going to do a discount of $500 for folks who pay for it tonight. Instead of $24.97, it'd be $2,000. If you bring a teaming partner, two of you all, I'm about collaboration. That can be a $750 savings. So for the two of you, it's $34.97. If y'all want to get together, just send me an email. I'll put your information in the chat and I'll send a separate invoice splitting the cost of the $24.97. You have office hours where all of the classes come together. And I may go into a little bit more deeper things outside of the regular curriculum. And then every other Tuesday, we have support and you completing your homework assignment. Our goal is no man left behind unless you want to be left behind. I created templates from that first business. What you're going to hear me consistently say is you do not have to reinvent the wheel. Follow the blueprint. The blueprint works. I have too many millionaires that followed the blueprint and now they're set. And part of our creed is when you start winning, you have to come back and teach. And tell folks. So if you go on my website, you'll see the business tube and people come back. Like next month, April 17th, Tanisha. She just won a $15 million HUD contract. I'll be interviewing her on the 17th. I just met an 8A, one of my 8A firms. She has security clearance, doing quite well. She's going to come back and share. So it's real. I don't guarantee anything, but what I can say, you put the work in, it works. These are the things that you'll be required to complete as part of your deliverables in the first module. The second module, we put you into teams because it's critical and key that you understand how to work together. And it's easier because now you get to use each other on your capability statement. Again, I haven't rolled this out. That'll be in the next fall. The pre-recorded is self-paced, and then the live. And then if you haven't been a part of the school.com community, that's what happens to the alumni when they complete the program. Because on the school.com community, we're now working together because everybody understands how important it is to partner. So that's why I love school.com, because once you're in the community, and let's say you see a contract in California, this map, I love this map. We have 336 in the community. So if I'm here in Georgia and I see a contract I'm here in Georgia and I see a contract in California, I know there's someone in the GPI community that's boots on the ground. And if that's in my area to screen these vendors. I see. And then we have them broken up into specific industries that everyone meets in that industry. The goal is everyone fish and look for each other. This is how we sustain ourselves. All right, that's my story. That's what I'm sticking to. Let me put that invite in there. You all can join that if you like today. That's free. So, yeah, any questions, anybody? Then I'm gonna come around it.
I'm sorry, I had a question regarding the 8A program. So you did mention, well, one, with all the changes in diversity programs and disadvantaged programs, you said that you have a template for how to provide explanation on how or why you're disadvantaged.
Yep.
And SBA is continuing to certify in the
Huh?
8A SBA continues to certify in the 8A program.
Correct. They do.
Okay.
They do. All the programs are being attacked.
Right.
But my thing is, we're gonna ride it out till we die, and we have to come in with a different message. As I say, we've been trained to lead with the certifications, and and that's how I've trained in the program, is to lead with, I'm a small business offering these services. And by the way, I have these certifications as a vehicle if you need to reach me. It's a different language.
Right.
Okay?
And there's a strong recommendation that we look at subcontracting for existing 8A.
Huh?
There's a there's a you have a strong recommendation that we subcontract with an 8A firm. I guess is the priority to subcontract with an 8A firm or to become 8A certified?
I said go ahead and get 8A certified before
Okay.
we destroy it now.
Right. Okay.
But part of the strategy is looking at those 8A companies that are graduating, but also you as a small business without any certification, start looking at those simplified acquisitions that are 350,000 and below.
Thank you.
Okay. What's your takeaway? Monique?
My takeaway. So as I mentioned, I'm kind of at the state, local, and education level. I am pretty intimidated by the federal space. I find the state and local to be easy, but that's just because I know the language and I understand it. So I'm really hesitant, and I do a lot of what ifs and it would be so much simpler if I just stayed. But we wanna grow and we want to be actually in the federal space. But I just find it very intimidating just coming from the other side of the coin.
It's the
It's
same.
doable, is my takeaway.
Yes, once you get in and understand the language, it's the same thing. But yes, don't talk yourself out of it. It's the same thing, same process.
Hmm.
Same process. They got federal dollars. They have to follow the federal rules.
Right.
Okay. Linnell and Lily, thank you, Miss Priester.
Priester. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes.
Hello, Miss Paula. You called me out. My name is Tiffany Young. I joined a little late. My apologies.
Yes, ma'am.
But this was very great. And I guess my takeaway would be that, it's doable. It's just about having the right guidance, and looking at things in a different lens and knowing that it's actually feasible. So I feel really good about what the future holds. So thank you for that, Miss Paula.
Oh, very good. Mighty Lion. Mhm.
Yes. Thank you for the presentation. I didn't know that you were able to bid on contracts that weren't in your field, so that was very educational.
Okay, very good. iPhone, who's on the iPhone?
That's me, Kiara. I would say I learned a lot overall, and I'm gonna do some incremental research to make sure that I kind of get more educated with all the different types and try to understand where I would best fit in. So looking forward to the future.
Now I'm getting ready to change your mindset already. It's not where you fit in, it's based on what the government is buying.
Mm.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yes.
All right,
Amen.
Miss Hunter.
Well, this was pretty good. I'm glad I came to the meeting. So now I just have to figure out what I can provide that the government is buying.
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm,
No?
mm-mm, mm-mm. That's the switch. It's based on what was that slide? Anybody miss? Y'all missed that slide.
Yeah,
The
what
one
the
about do not limit your business. Step one.
Mm-hmm.
Step one, do not limit your business.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at what the government offers.
Fine with the government's, whatever the money's flowing has nothing to do with
Right.
what you're buying, what your skill set is. I
Well,
don't have to know anything about that contract to win. I want to follow the money, and I'm creating a business model based on the money.
that's what I'm saying. I have to figure out what the government will buy because I'm a coder, so I know that I got to figure out something.
You're a CEO running a business.
I love it, Miss Paula. Tell one more time. Tell her that one more time for
You're a
the back of.
CEO running a business. You're not a coder. That's your skill set.
Right. So I got to find
Your
something.
skill set has nothing to do with running a business.
I
No.
know.
Hmm?
I know. I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying it in a different way so that I can understand what you're telling me.
Okay.
I'm saying it in a different way so that I understand the point you're getting across.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So over here, targeting agencies that may require coders. Because again, I want you to have one of your areas in your background, right? Target an area, contract. Let's see. We don't have to guess. So you can see where you fit in. Government buys everything.
Okay.
While I'm looking, somebody else, Karan, what was your takeaway?
Hi, Paula. It's a good presentation. My takeaway is like projections to find out the CDC projects, future projects in CDC. And also I got new site like samdaily.us, and I didn't know that one. It's a very easy to figure out the bits. It's a good site. And I didn't know before. So my takeaway is to find out the future projects in the CDC.
So thank you. So Ms. Hunter, what I do is have it broader. So as a medical coder, who do you work with? What other skill sets do you work with?
Well, actually, I've been a medication technician for 20 years, and I recently became a medical coder these last 5 years. So my background is basically servicing and healthcare.
So, but you work with other.
I work with a physician group.
That you can tap into, like
Yeah,
a radiologist.
right.
So
So
that's how you begin to staff up your company. It's not based on what you're doing now. It's based on who you know, because that's how we make money.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I got you.
All right. Nicole, I think you get to wrap it up.
Yes, my takeaway is one, like the gentleman who just said, that the other websites that you gave us, I looked on the SAMs and it is not user friendly. There's a lot of bugs in it. You're trying to maneuver around that site. So for me, that was huge. And the mindset that you're trying to instill in us is not about what we know how to do. Like childcare might be my passion, but I know that if I'm going to be out looking for what the government is spending money on, that will become my goal.
There you go.
Push your passion and the things you know how to do on the side for just 10 seconds and go and see what the government is spending money on. And those are the contracts we should all be going after.
There you go. And see right here, I partner with BizFeed. What they've done is brought all of these websites together that you're going to be using in the class, because I'm helping you to identify a teaming partner, a mentor. That's the last module, because that's the goal, is you're going to use somebody else's resource to put it on steroids. I love this particular application, and that's why we partner, because everything is in one place. I don't have to look. If I'm in this sector, I want to see what contracts are coming out next month. Now, instead of reacting, I'm able to start looking at what contracts and aligning myself up with potential vendors and partners. That's all you're doing. You're just a sourcing. That's all you're doing. Okay. Well, with that being said, I appreciate you all spending your Saturday evening with me. I will send you all this recording. And again, I'll send this till tomorrow since I'm in the evening. If you all want to take advantage of the discount rate. All right.
Thank you again for your time.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Paula. Thank you. Thank you.